Hey everybody, it looks like we're live, and I just wanted to welcome you to Friday Fun with Bonnie. I'm Bonnie Barker with BonnieBayCrochet.com, and it is just really wonderful to be with you all. Let me go ahead and get my computer refreshed so I can check in with anybody. I see Becky is there, gonna help us with moderation. Thank you, Becky. Um, just give me a second here. Got lots of fun stuff to share with you today. Once my slow computer, here we go. And 3, 2, 1. I'm working with the slow. Oh, I see lots of people now. Hey, I working with a little bit. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of people. So I want to say hey to Brenda Mack. Thank you, Brenda. Um, Thank you for your sweet comment. She said, do you crochet in your lap or on a table? I crochet wherever I can, Brenda. Usually sitting in a nice comfy couch with a pillow to help prop up my arm. Um, okay. She's like, wondering because my project shows some fuzzing on the beginning rows by the time I've completed it. Is that normal? That's a really good question. I would probably want to ask what kind of yarn you are using. Some yarn is much more prone to that than others. I had some really cheap acrylic at one point, and the part under the arm where the sweater rubs the sweater was showing extreme wear after like 1 or 2 wears. So which is why I have kind of not used that particular type of yarn anymore. And that was actually the Bernat Super Saver that I bought many years ago. They may have improved it since then. I don't know, but you know, once you're burned once, I don't generally go back. I really like some of the more natural fibers, but even those can tend to ball up just a little bit. I think that's just normal wear and tear. Um, that's a great question, though. I actually just bought a kind of a defuzzer thing to use on my. So you have Susan B. Yeah, she says, yeah, different yarns do that. Yeah, anything's going to show wear eventually, but the cheaper the yarn, the more readily it just kind of deteriorates, which is why I'm kind of trying to push people towards something a little more quality. And it's not just about the money or making money or anything like that, because you know that's not my situation. But it's mostly so that when you have something that lasts a while, something that your hard-earned money and time have to show beyond just the initial time of making it. All right, we have Cynthia Pitts. Um, she's wow, visiting us from Holiday, Florida. Wonderful, Cynthia. I hope you're not too cold down there. We got some pretty cold weather that moved into the Carolina areas. We're near the beach, and it's just, maybe 5 or 6 degrees above freezing right now. It's a little cold and windy. It looks beautiful, but you're going to freeze if you go out there. Um, and Cynthia says she's loving the cables throw. Great. I am so glad to hear that. I know it's not the easiest project out there, not designed to be, but hopefully a skill builder that will help you all, learn some fun stitches just to keep crocheting exciting for you. Um, so Frances says it's still, because she's in New Zealand. Um, wow, they live 20 minutes from Hobbiton. Francis, I'm going to have to visit you. That's always been a dream of many of my kids and my family, is just to visit, where the Lord of the Rings movies were filmed. Those are great books. We read them as a kid. So Francis is my sweet friend from New Zealand. And it's a very different time for her, 6 a.m. Wow. Susan's asking the pattern that I'm wearing. Actually, the sweater that I'm wearing, I haven't worn it in the past because I haven't been able to wear it. I finally able to lose enough weight to where I could get into it, and I'm really happy that, I don't look like a sack of potatoes like I used to wearing it. But this is in my Celtic cable crochet book. It's called the Vicky sweater, and it's named after a very dear friend of mine who's a wonderful Christian woman and an inspiration to many of us. But anyway, that's the sweater's named after her, and as you can tell, it's just a Celtic weave worked in the round. And I just changed up the colors. The Celtic weave is a really great stitch if you wanted to, change the colors like this. And actually the rest of the sweater is just worked in the round. It's just it's a continual kind of a thing. And then you crochet the sleeves on just like I did in my first sweater project, or very similar to. I think the sleeves on this, hang a little bit lower just because of the design of the collar and everything. Um, but I'm yeah, I'm thinking of maybe trying to do some other sweaters like this for you all in the future. Got lots and lots of ideas. It's the time thing that generally holds me back. But let's see who else is in our chat today, because I really want to focus on you all who take the time to be here with me. Um, let's see. Who do we? Oh my goodness, my computer just jumped again. I'm kind of going back. Well, there's a lot of people here. I am so sorry if I miss anybody. I just want to say hi to Jennifer. Is it Wasaki? And Donna Marshall. And hi, Brad's mom. Thanks for your sweet comment. And Laura Overman from North Carolina. Hi, neighbor. I bet you got some snow, because I know north of us, you guys got snow last night. We may have gotten some, but it just melted by the time it hit the ground. Kelly Hart, Ginger Kelly. Good morning, Ginger. Every time I see your name in the chat, I don't know if anybody else does this, but it's just that association, Ginger Kelly. I think of oh, what is his name? Come on, Becky, help me, help me. The real famous dancer, and his dance partner. My brain is not connecting right now. But anyway, a wonderful, wonderful man. Love to watch his movies. Let's see. Good morning to Kathleen Champ. And let's see. And Georgia Kenley. Yay. Yes, you did make it. Yay. We have Leslie Zimmerman from Ohio. We've got the Terry from Cleveland. Deb Sky from Toronto. Wow, this is like another geography lesson, guys. Let's see. Christina. Creations by a Yankee Anderson. That's an interesting name. Let's see. Crochet Blessings. Carmen Dice from Oklahoma. The Fiber Floozy. Wow, what? That's an interesting name. Vita Casas. Anyway, and we have Eleni from Greece. Wow, that's amazing. I think I may have mentioned this before. There might be a chance I might be in your area at some point, but I'm not sure when. Becca, you didn't hear that. Okay, Kelly has an excellent question. Kelly wants to know what kind of crochet hooks do I use? And I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. And let's see, we have Teresa from Brazil. Wow. Welcome, welcome, my friend. Let's see, Sheila from Oklahoma. We have J Hook Crochet and More from Germany. Wow, welcome. Guten Tag. And Amanda from Florence. Hey, we should get together for some coffee, Amanda. Let me know sometime. There's a really nice coffee shop right down the street from us called the C3 Coffee Shop. And really nice place to go. They have good tea there. I don't drink coffee, but if you ever want to do that, please contact me through my email and we can do that. Let's see. We have Joey Maxwell. I'm guessing that's from South Africa. I'm guessing. Went over to the UK in December. Wow. And Marcia Cummins. Lone Loon. I can't say the last name, but from Denmark. Thank you for joining us. Let's see. I think I'm just about caught up, guys. I'm going to get on with the show here. Well, thank you, Swati. She says she signed up for knit crates. She was debating and finally took the plunge. I'm going to be showing you something I made from knit crates in just a bit. I'm really, really excited about it. I haven't even shown this to Becky yet. Ha, ha, ha. Something brand new. I just blocked it last night. And we have Brenda Taylor from Roanoke. Thank you for joining. Yes, Gene. No, it wasn't Gene Kelly. It was the other guy. Becky, who am I trying to think of? Ginger Rogers' partner. Let's see if she'll post. He has a, anyway. Fred Astaire, thank you, Fred Astaire. That's where my brain was just not functioning there. I could see him, I could draw a picture of him, but I just couldn't remember the words. I am in that stage of life, I guess. Things are starting to slip. Well, they've already slipped a bunch, but we're we keep a sliding around here. Um, okay, Kelly wants to know, how do you sign into Knit Crates? I do have a link in my video description below. I do have several what we call affiliate links in those links below. So I'm just going to give that blanket statement. They're not all affiliate links, but some are, some aren't. Just to try to let you all know about that. And the reason I do that is it's just a very small way I benefit if you do sign up for those things, and there's never any pressure coming from me, I promise. It's just there to help serve you. If you do use the links, it doesn't cost you anything extra. In fact, sometimes you get discounts because of that. If you're interested in the Knit Crate, I'll go ahead and start with that today since people are asking about that. If you're interested in signing up for that, and if you've never signed up for it before, if you use the coupon code Bonnie20, that's BONNIE20, that information is in the description box below. You'll get 20% off your first Knit Crate. I think it's $24.99 a month. And they ship the box to your door. There's no extra postage or anything. Postage is included. I actually should be doing an unboxing, but the box is in Maryland right now. My daughter tells me that it did arrive, but I'm in South Carolina again. Going to be here for a while, so it may be a couple weeks before I get back to Maryland, but once I do, I will bring that to you and show you the unboxing. But let me show you what I can show you. As many of you know, I've been on this learning how to knit journey for a couple years, and last night, let's see which is, okay. Last night I finished this and I blocked my shawl, and it may not be real easy to see some of the pattern work in it. But there is, kind of a nice variation of stitches here. Okay, and so this is really soft merino wool, and you can wear this, looks like you can wear this as a scarf, or of course, the good old, good old shawl. If you get cold in a restaurant, these are especially great, if you're in the South or in places like even South Florida, where it's always very warm outside, but then you go into a restaurant and you drink your ice cold Diet Coke like I do, and then you freeze. So I don't ever go anywhere without a jacket or a cover up of some sort. And these little shawls are really nice, especially in the summertime if you're wearing a sleeveless shirt or something, and you can just cover up just a little bit just to ward the chill off. So these are really nice year-round things. But I made this shawl with the Knit Crate yarn, everything that was in the kit, and in the kit comes little booklets that have all the information you need to make either a crochet project with the yarn or a knit project. So I've just taken this opportunity to, learn how to do some of the knitting items. And let me see if there's any other questions here about that. You guys like the shawl. Thank you. This is a journey. I'm learning, just like many of you are learning some of these new stitches in the throw. I'm learning how to do different things with knit. And I'll go ahead and let me see. Let me go ahead and talk about the classes. Let me jar my computer over here. Okay, there it goes. We got a new printer here at my mother-in-law's, and for whatever reason it doesn't like me today, so I couldn't print out my agenda, so I'm having to read it off of something else over here. So before I go into what I was gonna say, I wanted to update you about what last week I was out I had to fly back to Maryland, had annual doctor visits and stuff like that, and just to let many of you know things are fine, and to the glory of God, and just had to do what we got to do to stay healthy, and just want to put a plug in for you all if you're putting off, those doctor's appointments, mammograms, stuff like that. That's never any fun. Just take the time to do it. Just take the time to do it, because many people love you, and especially if you're in my stage of life and you're caring for other people, the best way to care for your family and to love others is to take care of yourself. Yeah, I don't mean in a radical, go crazy mode, but make the doctor's appointments, and take the time to do that. There were many years where I didn't do that because things were just too crazy, but it's real important that you do that. I'm just really blessed that I've been able to give you a good report. And it was great to be home with my husband for Valentine's Day. We actually did something kind of fun this year. It's not a huge day for us, and I know for some of you, many of you, it's a kind of an awkward holiday, and I totally get that. I've got some single adult children, and they was joke saying, okay, Singleness Awareness Day. Well, yeah, but even sometimes married people can struggle with this, and I totally get that. But it was kind of fun. This is maybe a strategy. I'm just sharing this with you in case you and your husband, if you're married, or your wife or whatever, are open to this. But I hadn't seen my husband in weeks because of being in South Carolina. And so when I flew home, it was just great to be together. And we actually went out 2 nights early. We went out the night that I got into town, had a wonderful, delightful meal. Been saving a gift certificate we'd gotten probably more than a year ago at a really nice restaurant. And just the fact that it wasn't on Valentine's Day didn't bother either of us at all. But it was really even better because it was in a quiet atmosphere. The waiter had time to talk with us. He wasn't hurried and frenzied, like they are on Valentine's Day evening. So the waiter was in a good mood. The food tasted great. And the food came, at a normal rate. We didn't have to wait 2 hours to sit down. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I think that's going to be our plan from now on, is just pick a different night so that you don't have to be out there with the masses, with these poor, I'm thinking of the waiter staff and waitresses, they don't even get a chance to celebrate it on that day anyhow. So they've probably got to do something different if that's important to them. Okay, so let's see. I just want to make sure. We got Mary Dina from England. Well, welcome, Mary Dina, and Swati. I think I already. Okay, see who else we got. Oh, we have Johnny's in the chat. Hey, Johnny, it's been a haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well and surviving down there in South Florida. Boy, I need to get down there at some point. Okay, thank you. I'm probably gonna mispronounce your name. Edyta. Edya. Edita. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, but thank you for your sweet words. I really, really appreciate that. Well, let me tell you what I was gonna tell you. This is concerning knitting. Okay, I know this is a crochet channel, but I'm not opposed to learning something new. And I have really, really, really loved learning knitting in the last couple of years. And I'm really excited to tell you that coming up April 29th and 30th, that's this year, in Loveland, Colorado, I'm going to be teaching at Interweave's Yarnfest. And this will be my first time even attending this conference. So I'm really excited about that. For those of you who've never been to a crochet conference of any kind, I don't want to make you covetous or anything like that, but you are kind of missing out. These things are a lot of fun. Even if you know how to crochet, even if you don't take any classes, just being in an environment with a group of people that share your passion for all things yarn and hooks and needles and stuff like that. I can't even describe it in words, the atmosphere when you go to places like this, because in case you didn't know, we're kind of the odd folks out there who still do these kinds of crafts. I know that this craft is growing, and I'm really excited that younger people are getting involved. I mean, I started doing this when I was 7. So, I mean, I've been doing it for a long time, and but to be honest with you, I could count on one hand how many people I knew in my entire elementary through high school experience who also did this with me. I mean, less than 5 people that I knew. I mean, I'm talking excluding, going to places like the county fair where, where there are more people that do that. But even in my county in Florida, there weren't that many people. And when I would bring stuff into my school or wear something that I made, people would like look at me kind of weird. It was this a very unusual kind of a hobby. And it still is to some extent. But when you can get into an environment where you're connecting with a lot of people, and I think that's why yarn stores are very popular, that have places where you can congregate and knit and crochet together. I think that's why people really enjoy that, because it's just not a real common thing. But anyway, so Yarnfest is coming up. In the description box below, I do have the links. You're going to have to scroll down a bit to get to them, but I do have the links for the 3 classes that I'll be teaching. One of them is beginning knitting for crocheters. And again, I am not a super seasoned knitter, but I've learned enough that I believe I can get you started and share with you why I'm excited about knitting. Um, and you can ask my daughter Becky. This is kind of new for me, and for years I teased her about when she learned how to knit. I teased her about going over to the dark side of the force and all that. I was just in jest, but I was a little jealous too, because I had tried knitting and it just didn't click for me. I don't know, just didn't enjoy it. Then my friend Svetlana Ford at my local yarn store. She's in Sandy Spring, Maryland. Should you ever get to my area, it's like walking in. I've talked to you about her before, and there's actually a video on my YouTube channel. It's just my tour of So Original, and it's like walking into a yarn encyclopedia. And she's the curator of this thing. She knows so much. She's originally from Russia, and she's extremely skilled in knitting and knowledge of fiber. And I've learned a ton of information from her over the years. But anyway, I found out the key are these little things here. These are called circular needles. You see this? There's like a wire in between. And let me show you what happens with these. You can unscrew them and you can replace it with a different size, any size needle. And I don't have it in the description at the moment, but during the live, but I'm going to add a link for these. For any of you that might be interested in these, I'm going to add a link later. I forgot to do this before we got started. But and you can get wires that are longer and shorter. Of course, if you're making a sweater, or this is what I use to finish my shawl here. But let me show you. This was actually a Christmas present from me to me this year. I got my set from Knit Picks, and what I love about this is it comes with a case. You can get them without the case, but I wanted the case. And inside are all the different diameters. You see that all the different sizes. And so if I wanted to change the needle size, all I got to do is take out the needles and then screw it onto the wire. And what's nice about these is, let me show you. These are about the size of a crochet hook. And they're about the weight of a crochet hook too. And I know I'm going on and on about these, but if you're interested in these, I will put the link in there later. And I highly recommend them. This is actually the second set that I've purchased from Knit Picks. I really enjoyed the first set that I got, but the color in the wood, and these are really nice wood, was just a little on the dark side for me to record videos, because I like to use, as you know, the black drop behind what I'm working on when I'm filming up close, and I think that just gives higher definition. And I just thought with the lighter colored hooks, you'd be able to see what I'm doing better. And I am hoping to put some more beginning projects, but I already have 4 or 5 or more projects on my channel. If you go to my playlist section, if you go, there's right above on my channel, if you go to the home page and you'll hit click playlist. And when you do that, you can just look for beginning knitting for crocheters. There should be one for left-handed and one for right-handed. There should be a complete playlist. If there isn't, I need to do some work. But there are several projects. There's like a cowl. There's a knit backpack. There's a knit hat. And a couple of cup cozies, which are just little things that you can get started with if that's something you wanted to try. But if you are able to come to Colorado, I'm going to be teaching a class on this. And I'm going to be teaching it with really big knitting needles. So really, really wide diameter, but I'm recommending the circular knitting needles. And I'm really excited about that class. We already have some people signed up for it. Space is limited, so if you are in the area and are thinking about doing that, it's probably best to get it in now. I think there's still maybe a discount, but I'm not totally sure. You need to check with them. Actually, I think it ends in February, at the end of February, which is in 9 days. No, 8 days, because we have leap year this year. I'm going to be teaching 2 other classes. One is an I Love Cables crochet class. It's going to have some of the cables that are in this throw, but there are going to be some other cables that I didn't use in that class, but it's more of a comprehensive, intro to these stitches. And beyond that, I'm going to be teaching another cabling class called Big and Bold Crochet Cables. These are for the bigger, wider cables. And one sample, the only one that I used in this Afghan was the elongated cable here. That is going to be a part, wait a minute, you guys should already be doing this, I think, in this particular week. I think video number 3 included the elongated cable. And so that's one example of the bigger, bolder style cables. But I'm gonna do something I've never done before. I'm gonna show you a design in progress. Okay, this has not been published yet. I'm holding this aside. I'm trying to think what I'm gonna do with this design, but I want to show this to you just to show you the example of some of the other cabling that I'm going to be teaching in my class. Okay, this is a little secret. It's kind of a undisclosed stuff that I'm doing here. Okay, do you see this? The middle cable. You've done this before, but this part is just another direction that you can take these big and bold cables. And I've got other cabling ideas too that have not been published yet, that I'm going to be bringing to this class in Loveland, Colorado. So if that's something that might be cutting edge for you that you want to learn, and as you know with my stuff, it's not that hard. It's once you understand the premise behind it, it's really easy. Once it's just like once you learn to run, walking is easy. So anyway, I think that's a little sneak preview. I haven't done that before. So you might be seeing a project like that coming to my YouTube channel soon. I just need to figure out what yarn to use with this, because the yarn that I used was a special gift that I bought a little over a year and a half ago when my husband had work in Australia, and I just had to tag along, and in Australia they have some of the best alpaca in the world. And so this is actually a blend of wool, merino wool, and Australian alpaca. It's really nice stuff. And there's no way that I would use that yarn for this project, because just to import it alone would double the price, and I'm not going to do that to you guys. But there are plenty of great yarns. I just have to find out, what's good, and I just gotta think on that a little bit, and then I'll get back with you guys. I really do want to do I want to do this soon. I'm not sure when, but it may be 6 months out or more. I don't know, but it'll be coming eventually. The classes will be sooner. I'm also going to be teaching this class in New Orleans in July, but the sign up for those classes hasn't opened up yet. Um, Colorado is wide open right now. Um, and there still are there's plenty of room in all three classes right now. Of course, we are like 2 months, over 2 months out. And then so the way that works is you can sign up online, and then whatever is left over, let's say for the, when people attend the conference, and they can sign up on the spot as well, but when you do that, it's always whatever's left over. You kind of take a little more of a chance there. Let's see what else I got to talk about. I wanted to talk a little bit about crochet hooks, but let me look at the group chat and see if there's anything. I'm sorry if I missed anybody's comments. Let me see if there's any important question. Okay, I will look through this once the live is over. So if there's any question that I don't answer during the live and you really, 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 really need an answer today, please post after the video has rendered. Go ahead and post in the the questions below that do stay permanent, because once the chat ends, I'm not able to respond in the live chat, but I can respond in the boxes below, if that makes sense. Okay. Okay. You guys are so sweet. That's all I got to say. Lynn says, "Oh, please show the cable again." I did, so hopefully you'll see that. Oh, thank you, Sheila. She says the purples and lavenders are definitely my color. Yeah, it's the color I can do. I wish I could do yellow though. We're never happy. Let's see, what was I going to do? Oh yeah, hooks. I get a lot of questions about what are my favorite hooks, and those of you who follow me a bit know that I'm a Susan Bates girl. And let me show you some of these. These are my absolute favorites. Now I still have, let me show you, I still have a lot of regular normal Susan Bates hooks on hand. This is what I crocheted with for years and years and years and years. And let me just tell you a little bit about crochet hooks. There are two, let me put this over here so I don't drop the computer on the floor. There are two basic styles in the universe right now. Okay, let me show you two examples. Okay, these are the kind I absolutely love. Okay, the Susan Bates, and let me explain why. As I rotate this, you can see the shape up in here. These are called inline hooks. And basically the shape of the hook, the size doesn't change. It's pretty consistent throughout, okay? And one thing that I like about these other hooks, and by the way, there is a link, an Amazon link. It's an affiliate link, but it's in my description, video description, excuse me, should you want to know where to find these. They have them at Joann Fabrics. They used to have them at AC Moore, but AC Moore's been taken over by Michaels, and Michaels doesn't carry them except for a 6-pack, and it's only of the basic ones, not these. They're called soft hooks, or yeah. So, and you see the way this handle, it just feels, it's not cushy or anything like that, but it's just, it's a little more for my hand to grab. And what I love especially, look at this. This is the size G hook, but the handle is pretty similar, almost exact. It's a little tiny bit smaller, but close, very close to my K hook. Because whenever you're working with, let me show you, these smaller hooks, okay? It's a lot more pressure on your hand. It's just nothing to grab, really. With this, there is. And the really cool news about this is you can get these from Amazon, and they're a whopping $2.99 each, okay? These will not break the bank at all. In fact, I find these superior to the fancy schmancy hooks that cost a whole lot more. Now let me show you, where did I put it? Oh, there it is. And I'm going to show you the other style hook. Now, this is my strong personal preference, in case you didn't pick up on my opinion there. I am extremely opinionated when it comes to to my crochet hooks. Now, this is the other style hook. They have, the brand name is Boy Hook, B-O-Y-E, which are very popular and they're sold everywhere. And that's what they sell in beginner kits everywhere. And honestly, it makes me cringe because I have a really hard time crocheting with this style of a hook. Now, many of you I know learn to crochet with what they call, see, there's inline, these are called tapered hooks. And I don't know if I can show you. Okay, I can maybe show you. Do you see how the back of the hook actually tapers? Tapering means, you know, it gets a little smaller. So this hook actually up here is actually smaller than the circumference around this part of the hook. Some people prefer these, and you know, if that's you, great. I am not here to step on toes or anything, but do know that I know for some of you, it doesn't matter what hook you use. For me, it matters a lot. I'm going to share something with you. This is not to boast or anything like that, but actually to give glory to God, because many years ago, I had spinal cord surgery and I didn't know if I was going to have the use of my hands. This was about 16 years ago. But was able to have successful spinal cord surgery and didn't, obviously haven't lost the use of my hands. And then about 2 years ago, was it 2018, at the Crochet Guild, they had a crochet contest, you know, the speed contest. And, you know, I thought, oh, that sounds like fun. And I actually won, which was, yeah, I wasn't sure that would happen, but yeah, I thought I'm giving it my best shot. I was using Susan Bates hooks. Actually, it wasn't a Susan Bates hook. It was an inline hook made by Lion Brand. It was plastic. It wasn't that great of a quality of a hook, but it was an inline hook. And so I could fly with it. The next year, this past year, 2019, I had people gunning for me for this title, as it were. And so they handed us these things, these tapered hooks. And as soon as they did, I just kind of went, ugh, I'm going down. And I did. Actually, I didn't do too badly. I still came in third. I was happy with that. I thought that was a miracle because during the final contest that we had, not only did I have a hard time with this hook because it's just really harder for me to use, I stumbled along, but I also got a really big knot in my yarn. So I had to spend several seconds, well, actually it was like half a minute, pulling out a knot before I could continue on. And, you know, but still came in third, which I was amazed. I just thought that shouldn't have happened at all because I just felt like these really slowed me down. But again, personal preferences here that are coming out of my mouth. I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes who can't live without their whatever these clover hooks, I think they are. I think it's a great little design here, but also I use a lot more of the hook. So when I'm using this little thing gets in the way of my action, you know, my crochet on my hook. So anyway, that was a lot of blabbing about hooks. But the one thing I wanted you to be aware of is, let me see if I can find, okay, this is an each. Well, do I have one the same size as that? I'm trying to compare. Okay, this is an I hook. Okay, I wanted to compare. Okay, these are both the same size hooks, okay? Now, since this tapers up around here, now if you're a crocheter that works primarily up around here and your yarn doesn't come down to this part of the hook, you see what I'm going to say here. This is actually a slightly smaller hook than this, even though both of them are 5.5 millimeter crochet hooks. So all that to say is if you're looking at a pattern that calls for a particular hook, just know that that's an option, okay? Always look for the gauge. Find out what your gauge is before you begin, especially a large project, especially a sweater. Oh my gosh, if you don't do a gauge for a sweater, I mean, you could either end up fitting, you know, an elephant or your Barbie doll afterwards. I know those are extremes, but that happens. I remember a friend of mine contacted me. She was a new crocheter, and her mom actually was texting me one Christmas and saying, my daughter's working on this hat and it looks like it's gonna fit Dumbo. And I'm like, well, did she check her gauge? And the question I got back was, what's a gauge? And hopefully you all know what a gauge is, but a gauge is just basically a sample piece that you crochet. with the hook and the yarn you're going to use, and then you measure it. And in every pattern, it should say, okay, you should have 4 double crochets per inch, and let's say 4 rows or 2 rows, uh, per inch, or per, it's usually measured in 4-inch increments. So let's say 15 double crochets equals 4 inches. That would be the gauge. Or and then they'll give you a row, maybe 6 rows equals 4 inches. I'm just throwing that out there. It's going to vary for every single pattern, and I just advise you to do that. Make a little swatch, and that's called, measuring your gauge. And when you make gauge, that means when your numbers are approximately the same as what's written in the pattern, then you're good to go. But just know that even if you switch back and forth between different brands with the same size, you could get a different result, if that makes sense. Like this one, if I'm using this, my fabric's going to be smaller than if I'm using an inline hook. So anyway, I hope that's helpful to some of you, because I do get that question a lot. I actually got 2 of those questions this morning. So let me check in with you guys here. Where'd my glasses go? Oh, right here. I'm always losing my glasses. Yeah, Lucy says it'd be great to go to a conference. It really is, and I understand. I understand for many of you, like it was for me, especially when my kids were young and in the home. It's a financial sacrifice. The first conference I went to was actually in Greensboro, North Carolina, and that was 2011. I stayed with my husband's cousin's family and commuted there so I could save the hotel cost. Wasn't able to really take any classes at the time, but I just wanted to experience the activities there, and I was totally blown away. And after that, I just made that a financial priority. Just tried, if I could drive there, just make it a priority. And then the next one I went to was in Manchester, New Hampshire, which I could drive there. It was a whole day. It was a 9-hour drive, but I drove there and stayed at the hotel. And I will say that it really enhanced my experience to stay at the hotel, because it makes it easier to have lunch dates with some of the other ladies and gentlemen there. You can get a group of you together and just have a great time talking. It just makes it a lot easier. They usually have a pretty nice marketplace. I've not been to the one at Yarnfest yet, but they usually have a big room, and it varies from conference to conference how many people are, how many vendors are actually there, but there's usually a lot, enough to keep you pretty occupied. So I just saw a comment come in. I wanted to see. Yeah, someone says I have her thinking about the boy hooks. Um, yeah, and going, I'm jumping back and forth, but going back to the conversation about the crochet hooks, what you could even do is experiment with both and see what you like. You don't have to buy a whole set. Buy one of each and just compare and see how it works. But anyway, well, it is, oh my gosh, it's 12:42 here. So I probably need to be wrapping up. Let me just make sure I have everything covered. Do 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 do. Sorry. Yeah. Hi, Lynn. Lynn says she finally remembered to tune in. Yes, this is the first time I've worn this sweater, Lucy. Lynn. Like I said earlier, I've not been able to get into it before that. Thank you for your kind comments, Sindel. That's really sweet. And Laura Overman, okay, she has a great question. Do I use Tunisian hooks? I do have a set of Tunisian hooks that I ordered online. I think they came from China. That I used to do a project. I reviewed my friend, by the way, my friend Brenda Borg. She's a designer out in Colorado. I'm looking forward to seeing you. Hey, Brenda, if you're there, just want to say hey. She's a really dear friend of mine, and she is really, really excellent at the Tunisian crochet. I don't want to be a wet blanket or anything on anybody, but personally, I'm just I'm not a huge fan. Um, I I'm actually enjoying knitting a lot more, and I have find that I'm personally finding knitting easier than Tunisian crochet. I don't know all there is to know about it. I have made some garments. You do have to really block those things because the fabric is a lot thicker than knit fabric. Um, but there are some amazing patterns out there, and there are some people out there who are really excellent teachers. Actually, I was in touch with one of them this morning, my friend Sandy Walker, and she's from Canada. Hi, Sandy, if you're watching. Um, and I'm going to be showing you some things that she does. She does special cables and things like that. So look up Sandy Walker and tell her Bonnie said to say hey. Um, you can look her up. I believe she's on Ravelry. As you know, I'm not on Ravelry anymore. Some of my stuff does appear on there, just to let you know, and that's because publishers put it there. I do not. Um, I kind of left that organization for reasons. If you're interested, there's a video on my channel you can watch. But I just the long and short of it is I want to be in an environment that's safe for kids, that's not going to expose them to content that's inappropriate, and that's not going to be political. I want to reserve politics. I'll let other people talk about that. And like I've told people, if you want to talk to me about politics, we can take it out back and we can talk. But I am not going to mix that in with my crochet because um, I don't go there as far as this goes. And I didn't appreciate Ravelry going there. And so I've left that organization. But if you do go on Ravelry, I don't hold anything against anybody for doing that. I think it's a great idea. What they're doing is wonderful in some ways. I just wish it were handled a little differently than when they've chosen to handle it. Um, but my friend Sandy Walker is there, and you can see some of her designs. You can probably just look her up on Google, and she is an amazing cabler with the Tunisian, and I'm hoping to show you some of her work as soon as I get some samples to give away. I don't want to show you something that I don't have, but as soon as I do that, I get something in hand to show you and to give away. I will be talking more about the Tunisian stuff, okay? And one more thing, guys, we are 40, about 4,400 subscribers away from 100,000 subscribers on this channel. Can you believe that? That's amazing. And I just wanted to give you a heads up that once we hit the 100,000, try to be here because you know I love to give stuff away. And once we hit that mark, I don't know what I'm going to give away yet. I'm thinking about it. I suspect this will happen sometime in March. Not sure yet. Not presuming that it's even going to happen, but at the rate that the channel is growing, it could happen in a month. So when we do, be on the lookout for lots of fun stuff, okay? Well, I think I'm going to end it right there. I so enjoy our times together. I really missed last week. I hated that I had to choose between you guys and my family, but you know, my family kind of beat you all out, I guess. After the doctor's appointments on Friday, and then Saturday was the one day that I had to spend with my husband and my daughter, and then had to get on the plane that evening and fly back. So just wanted to let you know you're special. It means a lot to me that you show up here week after week, and just to hear me talk, that kind of boggles my mind at times. But anyway, just know you have a special place in my heart. And if you ever get to Conway, South Carolina, please contact me. You've got the information in the link there. We can go get some tea or something somewhere. Anyway, have a wonderful week. Stay safe with all that cold weather coming. And God bless. Bye-bye.